Hey, happy Wednesday, ladies. Let me get myself set up here. I hope y'all are having a great day. It's been a minute since we've had a Wednesday live training, so I'm excited to be back at it. We weren't doing them during the challenge because we were having our trainings on different days during that 21-day challenge. So we are back on Wednesday, ready to rock. So we're going to talk today about tips to help you with dining out, going out to eat, and still staying on track with your goals. Because I know sometimes this is a really big sticking point in either direction. It can either be we don't want to go out because we don't want it to affect our goals, or I don't want to not go out, so I don't even care about goals. I just want to go out and eat. So hopefully I can give you some ideas here that might help you balance those two things, where you can still go out, enjoy social obligations, social interaction, and still at the same time be able to achieve your goals. So pardon me, let's get at it. So we have all been there at one point in time or another. We're trying to watch what we eat, but then we get invited out to dinner, or coworkers going out to happy hour, or some other event of some kind of special occasion, something that we know is going to tempt our willpower to stay on track with our goals, but we also don't want to miss out on all of these events. So what do we do? I've got a few suggestions for you. Number one, my first thing is that if going out to eat is not something that you do on the regular, like multiple times a week, then my first piece of advice is to simply go and have fun. Enjoy yourself. One meal is not going to be enough to completely destroy all of the progress that you have made. But you might want to just be a little aware while you're there. First of all, I would suggest limiting, or if not completely skipping out on the alcohol, because the alcohol alone, even the low carb seltzers and things, the carbs aren't the problem. The alcohol is the problem. And so that can really wreak havoc on our cortisol levels. It puts our liver into a tailspin as far as being able to filter out the toxins that are in your body, because alcohol is like a poison to our body, and it causes us to very regularly become estrogen dominant, because your livers, one of their big jobs is to filter the excess estrogen out of your body. However, when we drink, all of that comes to a screeching halt, and now our liver is focused on the alcohol, and that extra estrogen gets recirculated back through. And so we end up estrogen dominant, belly fat. That's what that is. Okay, so that was my first thing, to either limit or skip the alcohol completely. Another thing you can do while you're there is to maybe not give in to the appetizer, which is usually fried, stuff like that. And then finally, when you order something, just get something that's high protein, get some veggies, call it a day, okay? Now, if going out is something that is a regular occurrence for you, which is totally fine if it is, you're going to want a better plan to stay on track than just find something with protein, right? So I'm going to give you a few ideas for that. So my first suggestion, step number one, or rule number one, whatever number one, is to plan ahead. So know where you're going in advance so that you have time to check a menu. You might want to also not only look at the menu, excuse me, on their website, but also check if you use any tracking apps like MyFitnessPal or Lose It. You can usually search the name of the restaurant in the app, and then you can go through and kind of look at which menu items might fit your macros or your calories the best. So another thing that I like to do, sometimes restaurant food is high calorie, y'all. Not only is it huge, but it's just very high calorie. That's why it tastes so good. They add all this extra fatty stuff that adds a lot of calories. So something that I will do sometimes if I know I'm going out is I might cut out a snack or something that I'm normally would have earlier in the day so that those extra calories can go towards my dinner. Or I might, make a smaller lunch that day, something like that, so that some of my extra calories can kind of shift into the dinner spot, and make it a little easier to find things that will work. So another option is when you order your food, ask the server to put half of it in a to-go container before they even bring it to your table. So this way you're not tempted. We'll always say, well, I'll just eat half and I'll take the rest home. But then what happens between when you think you're done eating and by the time the server comes back and asks if you want boxes, what are you doing? Right? You're sitting there picking. Next thing you know, all the fries are gone. So if you ask them when you order it, say, hey, before you bring it to me, can you take half of this and put it in a to-go box for me? Now you're not tempted to pick at it. You're still going to get to enjoy whatever it is that you wanted to eat. You've literally cut the calories in half and you've got leftovers for tomorrow. So that is another really great option that definitely works really well for a lot of people, because once it's in that closed container, and sometimes they'll even put it in a bag, I tie it in a knot, I set it aside, I'm not tempted to eat that until I actually want to eat those leftovers later. Another super simple one is to just save calories and money by just drinking water. Skip the sodas, skip the alcohol, just go for water. Obviously, water is going to hydrate you. We know that water is something that a lot of us struggle with getting enough of anyway. But also, when you're well hydrated, you're able to actually sense when you're truly feeling full. Sometimes when we're not well hydrated, we confuse being thirsty for being hungry. So when you're well hydrated, you're able to truly sense, oh, you know what, I'm full. It's time to stop eating this for now. Take the rest home or whatever. So save calories and money by drinking water. Next, number 5, if you're at a more local type of a restaurant that maybe is not in your meal tracking apps, excuse me, what's going on with my voice today? But if you're at a local restaurant that maybe isn't like a chain that's in the meal tracking apps, then you can, a couple of things. You have a few options here, a couple of options. One is you can look for something that is going to be similar at a restaurant that you know has it. So like, for example, you're at a local spot and you're getting a cheeseburger. Well, it's about, a quarter pound or whatever it might be. And you're like, hey, wait, Chili's has cheeseburgers. TGI Fridays has cheeseburgers, whatever. So you can go in and just look up in your app, Chili's cheeseburger, and log that. It's not going to be perfect, of course, because different restaurants make things differently. However, you'll get close enough. So really, honestly, all of nutrition is just a game of close enough. So you can use other restaurants' meals to get close enough and move on with your day. Another option, if you're not really sure where to find something similar from another restaurant, is, first of all, don't worry about tracking it. Okay, don't worry about it. But be smart about what you're ordering. Look for things on the menu like baked, pan-seared, broiled, grilled. Those are all words that are associated with ways of cooking that are going to naturally be lower calorie because they will usually be lower fat. Skip out on anything that says fried or sauteed. Those are always associated with things that are created in a fattier environment, whether it's oils or creams, things like that. And they're going to be much higher in fat, which means much higher calorie. So it's another option. And then finally for today, my final tip is to be super ultra extra careful about dressings. We would think that it would be low calorie to get a salad. I'm going to get a grilled chicken salad. Grilled, there's a key word in there. We know that that's good. Chicken, relatively low fat type of meat. Salad, lots of veggies. And then we dump the dressing on top. Even if it is just oil and vinegar or something, that adds a ton of extra calories. So what you can do is make sure, and a lot of places do this naturally already anyway, because so many people ask, but ask for your dressing on the side. And then what you can do is just dip your fork into it, and you still get the flavor of the dressing without an extra zillion calories. Sometimes I might dip the fork, get my, lettuce, whatever on my fork, and then maybe another tiny little dip in before I eat it. You're gonna find that you'll use only about half of those cups that they give you at the restaurant of dressing this way versus dumping the whole entire thing on top. And you have just saved yourself a ton of extra calories, hundreds sometimes. So I super suggest the fork strategy for your salad dressings. So that's it. Super quick, super short, and to the point this week for our first live back since the challenge. Those are 6 ways that you can still go out, still have fun, still enjoy other people, or maybe just enjoy not having to cook at home that day. So without going too far off of your goals. So if you have any other great ideas or strategies that you use, please, please, please put those down in the comments of this video. That way other people in the group can learn from all of your awesome ideas. And if you ever have any suggestions for live trainings, I am always all ears. I love to hear what you want to hear. So let me know, and I hope you all have a great week. I will see you next Wednesday.